The story of Hollowmere Vale.
Mist hung low across Hollowmere Vale, curling around the mossy stones like living breath.
The Vale was a quiet place now.
The laughter of children and ring of hammer against anvil long gone.
Only the echo of memory lingered between the twisted oaks and crumbling cottages.
Yet, every year on the night of the fading moon,
someone would see a lantern glowing by the old
well, and those brave enough to follow it never returned quite the same.
Ira Wren had heard the stories since childhood.
Her grandmother used to warn her that the lantern belonged to the
Watcher of the Hollow, a spirit guarding
something precious or cursed. But Ira was not the type to fear old tales.
She was a scholar from Thornvale,
one who studied forgotten histories.
And Hollowmere's silence called to her like an unanswered question. She arrived at dusk, her cloak soaked with fog,
her heart throbbing with both excitement and unease.
The air felt strange to still, as if the Vale itself was holding its breath.
When she reached the well, the mist thickened until she could barely see her hands.
Then, out of the haze, a faint golden light flickered. The lantern swayed gently, as though held by an unseen hand. Ira approached, whispering, "Who's there?" No answer, only the sound of dripping water.
Then the lantern moved, floating away through the mist. Slow enough to follow, against reason, Ira stepped after it. It led her down a narrow path between half-buried stones, through the remnants of a broken gate,
and finally into what seemed to be the remains of a chapel. The walls were cracked, but the stained glass
windows still shimmered faintly.
Under the moonlight, the lantern hovered.
Before an altar draped in ivy, there, in the center, lay a single book bound in dark leather untouched by time. When she reached for it, a voice whispered, "Do you seek truth or peace?"
Ira froze. "Truth," she said. The lantern dimmed, then brightened again,
revealing the faint outline of a woman standing beside it, her eyes hollow, her hands clasped as though in prayer. Then,
"You must remember," the spirit murmured. "We
built this veil upon a promise
to guard the well that binds memory to the living, but we forgot our own names, and the veil forgot us." Ira opened the book. Inside were pages of lives' names, faces, sketches of those who had once lived there.
But as she turned the final page, she saw her own name written in fresh ink.
The spirit smiled faintly. "You were always part of the story." The lantern flared, and the mist swallowed everything when dawn came.
Travelers passing through, Hollowmere saw smoke
rising gently from an old chimney, and the faint sound of pages turning in the breeze. From that day on, the Vale was never empty again. Some said the scholar had awakened its heart. Others whispered she had joined the Watcher,
keeping the light alive for those who would one day come seeking truth. And on every fading moon since,
the lantern still burned steady, patient, waiting.